One thing I tend to impress upon my students early on is an odd rule or saying to help them with their magic. And that is the following: there are no rules in magic, only guidelines. Insert Pirates of the Caribbean uh, quote there.
The code is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules. Welcome aboard the Black Pearl, Miss Turner.
And I really, really believe that. While everyone may say that there are really strict rules, yes, there's all these things. I believe for artistic style, and because as we are artists, that even the wrong way can work into the right way with some finesse and make it work for the context it is. Very few exceptions. There's always an exception to everything. But and cue this questionable technique, this questionable double lift, which I made in a reference in another video. And one of the main points I wanted to make is that if you are trying to learn a technique and it's not working for you, or it's not your style or stuff of that nature, or you just want to improve it, or there's different things, a reasoning for why the current routine is the way it is, and you may not be jiving with you, then you can be able to work and feel encouraged to use your creativity and your style and everything about you to be able to change it and make it work for you. To say that you must do a double lift and you must do this is structure for the routine, sure, but once we understand the fundamentals of it, then we want to start breaking out of the routine. It's just a guideline. We have a guidelines of how we want to do it. It's just what I want to avoid, rather, is people not feeling too forced into one routine or with a trick going one way. And I want to open the minds to different possibilities. If one thing is not jiving with them, or the technique isn't, it feels too difficult for them, they should know that there's multiple ways to do it, and that they can feel encouraged to explore different avenues or their own style, develop their own style to do it. That there is no one way to do a routine and come up with a decent result. Many times I've had students create their own techniques just because they feel encouraged to be able to explore different realms, and they've come up with really, really cool effects that I'm really impressed by. Not feeling that they were structured or tied into one set, but they can take this routine and understand the concepts and then transform it to something that suits them and can have a clear context for it working, which is just amazing overall, and something I really want to encourage, that you don't feel locked into one thing, but you can feel like you can learn different styles and then add it all together and make your art, you can make a strong artistic piece and not have to feel so judged in the way you perform it, and feel encouraged to be different. And that's what ultimately we want to be, because if everyone's the same, that doesn't add for a lot of originality, and then everyone's competing for any little unique trick. But if you're original in your style, presentation, and everything, maybe not necessarily the entire trick. It may not, and not everything has to be totally original, but just adding different parts to different styles, which may seem rule breaking, may not be, because you went under the idea or sense that it's just guidelines and that you are allowed to explore so you can encourage growth. And by going outside of your comfort zone or box, you're able to learn more faster and see what works, and maybe something does work and you do like it and you can grow with it, and then it becomes a centerpiece in your act. Isn't that great? But it's because you took the brave step of going outside what are the rules, and there's like a good idea of rules or guidelines of what there is, and then going outside of it just to break out and to try to do your own thing is something that should be encouraged, because we want individuality in magic. It allows for a more unique act, a more unique feel, because by not implementing your personality or who you are into your act, it just seems like it's just a bunch of tricks you're performing, and it's just the tricks we should be focusing on more than the whole experience with the performer of them really trying to share it. But that is my opinion. So what are your thoughts on rules just being guidelines or stuff of that nature? I'm curious to hear it down below, but as I love to say, please be professional and respectful in your responses to each other. So with that said, I'm Dan, and if you haven't checked out this video or this video yet, definitely check them out, and I will see you in the next video.